Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of 10 Minute Marvel. We have a bunch of rumors and then we'll swing over to the main topic for our speculation, just early information, what we know for your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. And the king of arachnid puns, we have Petter here, and co-hosting, as always,
It's Greg, everybody.
yes. So if you had a joke, we couldn't hear you there for half a second.
That was the joke.
Okay.
It was
Well,
it, it
that's
was
getting cut out.
yeah, I know. It was a highly censored joke, and my internet provider said, "No, you cannot say that. That is inappropriate and wrong." So
Yes.
I got I got shunned on that one. It's Greg, everybody, for reals this time. I'm glad that you defined that it was about Spider-Man again and not about baseball as it was last week because I totally was gonna fall down that again. All right, let's talk about how you can support us, shall we? Should we get into that part? If you're looking
Yes.
for ways to support us, you can find us on the YouTube channel, and our YouTube channel is 10 Minute Marvel. Give us a like and a thumb smash, yeah, yep. Take two. Give us a like and thumb smash on that subscribe button. Find and follow us on Facebook and X, hashtag 10 Minute Marvel. And of course, you can leave us a rating and review wherever you get your friendly neighborhood podcast from. It was
Yes.
almost perfect. It was almost
Yep.
perfect.
Oh, and I'm leaving it all in too.
Yeah,
So,
that's fine. I just let the world know that I suck at what I do in this podcast.
I mean, I pay you accordingly.
The one, yeah, it's for everybody. I don't get paid. I don't get paid because I do stuff like that all the time. And once I stop messing up, I might get $5.
Annually? Yeah.
Okay. Well, I think it's enough to not have to write it off of my taxes or anything like that.
Yeah. Yes. So let's start off with a few pieces of news. First off, the Marvel Snap game, which was, I found out more information about it. It was basically
It was on our servers?
it was it was published through the same company that has TikTok. So it was legally and completely owned distinctly by a different company, but the company that owned TikTok threw a hissy fit and pulled it down from everywhere and pulled like any apps published through them or like the biggest ones
Huh.
published through them down from anywhere. So yeah, it was basically them being petty. It's back, kind of. It needs to get relaunched to Google Play and the Apple App Store. So there are certain elements of it that don't work. If you wanted to make in-app purchases, you can't. But it is back, so you can still
I
play the game.
I thought TikTok was back though. Didn't we?
I think I don't know about that, but this was separate from that this occurred.
Okay.
Basically, they're like, screw you, we're going to a different publisher. Stop blocking our stuff. You don't have the rights to do it.
Oh, right.
Yeah. Yeah, like I said, it was part of a petty hissy fit by the company that owns TikTok.
And that the 2000s executive orders that happened.
Right.
Okay. That's
Yeah.
okay. Well, fine.
Well, and this was, yeah, TikTok is all Supreme Court too. So next up on the news, Benedict Cumberbatch did an interview and was talking about what he will and won't be in the MCU. Apparently, he is not going to be in Doomsday, but he is going to be in Secret Wars, and it sounds like Doctor Strange 3 is, well, he confirmed that Doctor Strange 3 is currently being worked on. So, interesting.
Yeah,
Uh, it makes sense if Doctor Strange 3 is going to be between Secret Wars and Doomsday, that he won't be in Doomsday, where we left him.
kinda. I mean, we kind of know that he's off about to do something, right? That's
Yeah.
where Doctor Strange and Multiverse of Madness left off. So I don't know if they need any sort of like stepping off point in Doomsday for him,
No,
but I think if they're gonna slide him in between, it should be fine. But I could see what you're saying. Normally, you'd kind of want to lead into the next. Well, when have they
no,
ever led into the next movie, right?
no, I
So
don't. I'm saying that I think it makes perfect sense with where Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness ended, that he wouldn't be in Doomsday.
Oh, well then yes, we agree. Very good.
Yeah. Yep. And I put up a video on the 10-minute Marvel YouTube on that. So you can check out for some more details on my thoughts there. Like, we'll see how many people have done it. 31 people already have. So yeah, to me, I think Doom is going to be about creating the battle world, his world after all the incursions occur. And I don't think that anybody else is like Doctor Strange is going to be caring about that. He's going to be solely focused on trying to stop um, incursions. So makes sense that their overlap would not really be.
Yeah. And it still actually could happen. Like who knows?
Mhm. Yeah.
He
I
could just be trying to save face a little bit and
Yeah. And it could be at like a post-credit scene, something like that, though I tend to think that he probably won't show up and maybe Doom will show up in a post-credit scene in Doctor Strange 3 to set up Doctor Strange's involvement in Secret Wars.
yeah. Yeah.
So, and the other piece of news, I actually went news first before rumors, is that Armor Wars is currently on hold. It is planned to occur after Secret Wars, which makes sense. There's not that much time left, really. And that the script is being rewritten based off of the wonderful world of Secret Invasion flopping so hard.
What? That is the worst news I've heard from Marvel or who or anybody in a long time, I feel like. That's terrible. That's a terrible
Yeah.
idea. I don't like the fact that it's coming out after Secret Wars. It's why? At that point, scrap it. I feel like there's no point. Now given I have no idea what the actual story is gonna be
Mhm.
fully, but it just seems like it's too late. Unless they do something with Riri
Yep.
that,
That's
right? But otherwise, I
well,
just feel
and
like it's too late, and I don't know. I don't.
who knows where this could lead. Obviously, they're saying they're reworking it because they don't want it to tie into Secret Invasion. Um,
They don't want to tie into Secret Invasion.
correct. That's what I
Okay,
said. Yeah.
I would like to rewind because I'm pretty sure you said they're tying it into the Secret Invasion, but I guess I'll have to do that afterward on the podcast. So
Yes.
that was what pushed me over the edge in my comments because I'm like, why in the hell would you say or like base it off of things that happened in Secret Invasion?
Right.
Okay.
Well, I'm assuming that they probably would have tied in Skrull's Rhodey having been swapped out as part of the plot.
Just to face off against Gaia, he would not stand a chance.
No, I think more so that the implication would be like, okay, he's been replaced for a little bit, maybe since the Battle of Endgame, or if they really wanted to push it back, Civil War, and it was the Skrulls or the Kree or somebody they've been, well, we know it's the Skrulls. The Skrulls have been using the fact it's not the real Rhodey to steal a whole bunch of Stark tech, or the government's been able to take hold of it because Rhodey was encouraging them to do it, but the real James Rhodes won't, so now he's trying to get back the Stark tech back out of the government's hands, back out of the power brokers' hands. So that's what I would have guessed it would have been. So I don't
Yeah.
think it makes sense to
That's-
rewrite it.
yeah, but it still feels
It's weird.
too late.
Yeah, it feels like the Black Widow movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, put it bluntly, it's like, why?
Yeah, it might be good, right?
Hmm.
I would like Don Cheadle to get his moment in the spotlight, right? And
Yeah,
I think it'd be great. I think he would do awesome, but yeah, it's kind of a Black Widow move.
yep. So let's move on to the rumors because we got a number of them here.
Okay, I'm gonna check my headphones just to make sure I hear you right these times.
All right.
I think I just need to turn them around. I had the left on the right and the right on the left. I think that's what was a problem.
I mean, that makes sense. That explains a lot about you, actually,
Yeah, I'm gonna put a big R and a big L on my headphones so next time I'm
or
ready.
your head. So
Or
you
my head.
remember.
Yeah, I do have to put my head on right sometimes.
Mhm. So first off, this one just popped up today from Daniel RPK that the brothers have reportedly signed a new deal with Marvel to lead multiple projects, including an X-Men film.
Oh wow, branching that far out. Cool.
Yeah.
I will be, I will give my 2 cents in this after I see Secret Wars.
Yeah.
To
Well,
be continued.
yes. And I will say too, the wording of the rumor is to lead multiple projects. Does that mean, I know there was some conversation even when they were brought in with Doomsday and Secret Wars that they potentially had signed on to do more. Not necessarily direct more films, but to oversee kind of some of the film side of things.
Hmm.
Kind of like you have Brad Winderbaum, who obviously reports up through Kevin Feige, but he oversees a lot of the TV side of things. Could you have the Russos kind of doing that just because with how big the MCU is now, you need more, you need kind of, instead of just the one brain in the room leading everything, you need more people.
Yeah, not such a bad idea. The Russos, were they a part of the writing as well for Endgame and
I mean, I'm
Infinity War?
sure tangentially,
Right.
but
Not like like the original, not the original, but like the base of the
right. No, that is McNeely and I'm looking this up. Writers, Christopher Marcus and Stephen McNeely are
okay.
the main writers on it. And then
S-
actually it looks like the Russos do not have any sort of writing credit on
Okay,
it.
so it's really just directing, producing.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I think I agree with you. Like have them there as it's like the arms and legs of Kevin Feige, right? Like that's kind of
Yeah.
what they need to have because it just seems like a kind of a good idea. It's a lot to put on one person. But and it just gives more creative inspiration possibly to happen. So,
Yeah. Then next you have a couple, well, character appearances that are rumored. First being Namor to appear in Marvel's Zombies.
hmm.
So I don't know if Tina Cuerta is going to be voicing Namor. It, I mean, who knows?
I wonder if Namor is not affected by whatever virus.
Yeah.
Hmm. Cool. I like Namor.
hmm Could be. And then the other one would be that Mephisto is going to be featured in Midnight Suns. So more Midnight Suns rumors, more potential character rumors around that.
I
Makes
guess if
sense.
anything, yeah, that is the spot,
Yep.
right, for a Mephisto sh to finally show his face.
Well, to show back up again because he's supposed to be in
Uh, Fair.
Ironheart. Yeah.
Yeah. Were you gonna say Iron Wars?
Yes, because I was combining Armor Wars and Ironheart,
Yeah.
since both of them are Iron
Yep.
Man adjacent.
Yeah.
Then we have a couple of Spider-Man 4 rumors. First off, that Spider-Man 4, there's going to be a new love interest rumored to be cast soon for that movie. So, Felicia Hardy or Gwen Stacy?
Oh, or Petter. Sorry. I'm
Yep,
gonna
yep.
say it's he's stroking his beard right now. Um, Probably Gwen Stacy. Well, wait, Black Cat. I think they want to do Black Cat, don't they?
I mean, that's been the rumor. So I could definitely see Felicia Hardy Black Cat making a lot of sense. Knowing what the next rumor I'm gonna talk about is, I do think it's more likely it's uh, Gwen Stacy because Emma Myers is rumored to be who Marvel is looking at for Gwen Stacy.
Looking her up. Hang on.
So she is Enid Sinclair in Wednesday. So
Have
like
not watched
the
that show, but
bright, happy character in the at the Nevermore Academy.
she's in the Minecraft movie.
hmm
Yee. Um,
She hasn't actually been in a ton.
no,
Not a bad thing. Just statement of fact.
I would, I mean, I think if I'm gonna base it on looks, I think she would be a great, like Gwen Stacy for sure.
hmm Yep.
So that's cool with me.
Hmm.
However, I was thinking, I mean, they do need to have some of the love interest for sure, I think, in this movie with Zendaya being kind of booked up.
Yeah, and
Um,
lesser role, obviously, where the story, I mean, just in the movie stories, it doesn't make sense that she would be a major character.
yeah. Um, I don't know. Like, yeah, would you rather, would you want Black Cat, or do you feel like a Gwen, uh, more simple love interest, more straightforward love interest, rather than the complex one of Black Cat? Sorry, I would say Black Widow, but Black Cat.
Yeah, I don't know. An Anya Taylor-Joy as a Black Cat, for example, I think could be really good. And I'd almost lean that way, but I understand, especially from Sony's side of things too, like Gwen Stacy is a bigger character to have in there because you have the potential for Spider-Gwen.
Yeah. Anya Taylor-Joy, I think it'd be a great Black Cat, but I almost feel like it's when looking at Tom Holland, it's almost like Tom Holland is the kid and she's the babysitter, and that'd be just weird if they were making
Yeah.
out or something. So, um, sorry, Tom Holland. I don't mean I just called you basically an infant or a child. So I don't know. Yeah, I'm kind of either way on this one, to be
Mhm.
honest. Either is fine.
Then there are a couple of X-Men rumored casting, so get ready to look up people up again. Elizabeth Gillies as Rogue. I
Gillies. Go, got it.
Yeah, she's been in stuff like Dynasty. Um, Honestly, not much that I recognize.
Huh. Okay. She's a Nickelodeon show.
Hmm.
You didn't watch that?
No,
Victorious? Okay.
nope. So it could be fine. I don't, again, it's a name I don't know super well, which isn't a bad thing. It's just a thing.
Yes.
And then the other one being Olivia Cook as um, Jean Grey.
Olivia
Look,
Cook. I think I've
she
looked her up before.
was Samantha Artemis in Ready Player One, which was a sufficiently okay movie. She's Queen Alicent Hightower in House of the Dragon. So,
Oh, she shaved her head in one of the films. Dang. Commitment. Um, yeah, I mean, it's kind of a sure at the, whatever
yes.
at this point. I don't have any strong feelings on that at all.
Mhm. It'll be interesting. I'm just excited for the point in time, which I don't think will be this Comic-Con, but might be the next Comic-Con. No, probably actually the one after that. No, wait, when
3 years from
is
now?
2 years from now, actually, I think, because Wars will already be out. So the 2027 Comic-Con, I think they'll roll out like, hey, here's our here's our mutant lineup. I don't think they'll roll it out in between the two movies, just because that would distract people from the two movies too much.
Yeah, I think they want to make a nice clean break between the two.
Hmm.
Once Secret Wars is out, they can start their next phase of things with the X-Men.
Yeah.
And that's when they'll start really just pushing out and pumping out names, I'm sure.
Hmm.
It's funny to see how many, I want to see how many like names go out there. Like, because sometimes there's like self-promotion, right? Like, there's
Yeah.
actors that will be like, hey, how about me as, I don't know, Morph, right? Or something like
Hmm.
that, or Jean
You'd
Grey.
be a great morph, Greg.
I would be a great Morph. I know that, and I'm gonna actually put my name in the hat and that post it on
Sounds
Instagram. I
sounds
better get some
perfect.
likes. Yeah, I better get some likes from you.
Yeah, I
Uh,
refuse to follow you on Instagram. Not until
God,
you shape up your
my
copy
co-hosting.
reads. Yes.
Fine.
Um, then Daredevil Born Again. First off, it's rumored that season two is going to start filming, potentially even start filming prior to season one even being out. That's not that weird. And then also that season one is potentially like darker than the Netflix show was.
Oh,
Yeah, that was an interesting rumor to stumble across. And then that
did somebody see it? Did somebody get
I'm
like a
sure
teaser?
sure people have seen, or some of the people have seen probably the first two, three episodes. Like Marvel always sends out a few episodes
Yeah.
to some people, and you're really not supposed to, I don't think, be breaking embargo on that yet, but
No, it's like
yeah,
only personal overview feelings, right? And not
right.
review style.
Right.
So
And, well, and potentially you're not even supposed to be doing the personal overview feelings on stuff yet either, because you don't want a whole bunch of people who you want covering your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man talking about your next show already.
sure.
Also, that season two is going to feature a number of surprise cameos. So, who could be a surprise cameo for season two, Greg? Knowing
Ooh.
what we know about season one, which is fairly light at this point.
So do we get Electra back?
Hmm. Could.
Um,
I was
I'm think
thinking
yeah.
She-Hulk.
Oh, She-Hulk would be good. That'd be fun. Although weird.
Hmm.
I don't know. That is a delicate thing. Once you start breaking the fourth wall, I feel like it's like you gotta do it wisely.
Well, and do you have her break the fourth wall in this? Or because it's Daredevil's show, does she play with Daredevil's rules?
Yeah,
With maybe like just a wink to the camera.
I would that would be as far as I go with it. Like
Hmm.
you can't you're gonna break the flow of the show, I feel like. You don't
Yeah, oh well. And
uh
if it's dark too,
yeah. Yeah, exactly. So, who else could be? I was I was gonna say the Hand, but I think you're looking for more like specific cameos.
hmm,
Um, would they start bringing in like a Luke Cage at that point, right? Or
right.
this is the Jessica Jones time.
Hmm.
Danny Rand
Echo,
is still, yeah, Echo, perfect. There you go. Um, who else like street level could you? Spider-Man?
Spider-Man. Yeah.
There you go. Yeah. When I said street level, duh.
Yep.
So kind of that defender side, or like even God, they wouldn't do a Fantastic Four. That would be
No, doesn't feel right. Especially we don't know where the
yeah,
I suspect the Fantastic Four won't be in the main MCU timeline by the point that season two of Daredevil Born Again comes out.
right. I'm yeah, how about villain wise? Like who
Hmm.
I'm kind of assuming that Bullseye maybe gets I don't know if they take him out. It's like a primary like villain.
Hmm.
So maybe they wouldn't. I'm saying not taken out in this season. I don't think he's going to be taken out in this season.
Hmm. The Hood.
Maybe do something like that.
Hmm.
Going back to Heroes, would you want to do Riri Williams? She's kind of, I mean, kind of what she's Chicago though, so
Yeah,
kind of,
she's Chicago, MIT.
so maybe
I
not that.
yeah, it doesn't make sense for her, at least not much sense for her to show up there. Kamala.
Kamala. I mean, her dad in the show.
Yep. She's in the neighborhood
Yep,
ish. Yeah.
about all
So
I got.
then we have rumored titles for the Daredevil Born Again episodes, and the rumor made sure to be very clear that these are not necessarily in order. But rumored titles we have Heaven's Half Hour, With Interest, The Hollow of His Hand, Straight to Hell, Sic Semper Systema, Isle of Joy, Excessive Force, Art for Art's Sake, and Optics.
Hmm. Optics. That's interesting.
Hmm.
Is that related to the optics of what Wilson Fisk had? Does he need optics in one of those mini suits that he's got stored away down in his basement?
Or is it optics of what does it look like for, well, both Daredevil and Wilson Fisk to have Muse running around Hell's Kitchen murdering people? Like is it optics in kind of the political sense?
So you're thinking like just
Like this could be
how
the
it's
episode,
visualized or how it's seen, how things are seen.
how the public perceives Fisk in particular as somebody who he came in and said, I'm running to deal with all these caped people. I'm going to stop them and I'm going to stamp out crime in Hell's Kitchen and in New York. That's why you vote for me. We don't need these vigilantes doing it. We need a strong mayor to lead. And then Muse shows up and they're having trouble tracking down Muse and stopping Muse. So now the public's like, well, didn't you say you're going to be tough on crime? How come this is still happening? That makes
Yeah.
sense?
Yeah. Just how people perceive, right? It's perception
Yes.
of Fisk and well, probably a lot of Fisk, but
Yeah.
also Daredevil maybe at that time.
Hmm.
Oh, so.
Yeah, like why isn't Daredevil doing anything?
Yeah. Yep.
Some of those, like art for art's sake, obviously is going to be Muse focused.
Yeah. I wonder if it'll be this is like Vanessa will be involved since she did have an art gallery and
Yeah.
that was her business. And you also have, I mean, there's Fisk's, well, he was interested in art because of Vanessa and obviously and that
Hmm.
painting that became a wall. So yeah, I'm gonna say there might be like a little tie-in there. Like maybe there's a threat to Vanessa
Yeah.
somehow, or the muse gets close to Vanessa and Fisk finds out. Something like that.
Hmm. An interesting, so like semper systema means basically thus always the system.
So I'm guessing the courts or judicial system,
That's
right?
kind of what I'm thinking too.
Which one do you think is going to be the last episode of the season? Like, what one stands out
Uh,
as which title?
Heaven's Half Hour or In the Hollow of His Hand. I can see both of those making sense.
Yeah,
I kind of think like excessive force, that could be the first one even.
maybe I was thinking that was a Punisher show or episode where he steps in, but
Hmm. I mean, it also definitely could be
oh
that, but I was thinking like if this is the time where Daredevil almost beat Bullseye.
yeah, maybe it's where he hangs up his cowl kind of thing.
Yep.
Yeah, good stuff. Not far. What do we got? A couple weeks? No, we got a
No,
month, right?
a month and a week basically.
Okay. Oh, just add those two together. Um, I said a couple
Yeah.
weeks, I guess. Yeah. It's shaping up to be good.
Hmm. A few more rumors here. First being that the Fantastic Four and Thunderbolts might both be getting Super Bowl trailers. And
Hmm.
I've heard or saw an interesting thing about this rumor too, is apparently there's some exec at Disney who previously with stuff has responded like, what? Incredulously to rumors like this, and which those rumors have then always turned out to be true.
So wait, the exec at Disney.
Responds to somebody like tweets out the rumor or something like that, probably tagging Disney or Marvel Studios or something like that. And the exact response, like, what to it? Like, come on, where did you get this rumor from? Why do you, like, in the idea of like, this is crazy. Why would you think that this rumor is true? You're just making stuff up. And then it's turned out to be true.
Oh, because
So,
the exec has no idea what's going on. Or
no,
they're just
because
trying
the
to.
the exec is trying to throw people off the scent by doing the exact thing that people would do if you're trying to throw somebody off the scent. So everybody knows that.
So they're just a terrible, terrible actor.
Yes, which is
What? Yeah.
why they're an executive,
Right.
not an actor.
Can't blame them then, I guess.
Yeah. Next, we have that Jeffrey Wright is reportedly set to appear in live action as Uatu the Watcher in Fantastic Four. Makes sense if it's like a universe-ending
Yeah.
event
Yeah.
or something like that, or kind of the like Reed and Sue and all the Fantastic Four are going to be pieces that need to play in Secret Wars sort of thing.
Yeah, so
Like,
he's gonna continue on with his breaking his oath, if you
right.
will. Yeah. Do you think,
Yeah.
yeah, is it gonna be a crossover type of thing? Or I mean, or they're just gonna kind of
I think they're just gonna kind of say like, what if is what if? And
but
that's an
that's what he is
animated,
in What If, right?
I
He
know.
gives so yeah, so
Right.
it's a crossover. It would have to
Yeah.
be. There's
Yeah. Who knows?
canon to it in
Yeah.
a way.
Also then that multiple watchers will show up in Doomsday and Secret Wars. This is a different rumor.
Are they gonna just keep battling like they have been in the end of What If, like in the last episode, just a nonstop, nobody wins battle?
I'm wondering if maybe like a watcher could get used by Doom to like power um Battle World instead of doing Molecule Man, do a watcher.
Mm. So it's not going to be like they have to hunt a watcher down. It's not the similar style of or role as Molecule Man, is what you're thinking.
Right.
It's just they're using the Watcher to power the
Yeah.
world,
Like kind of they're tapping
like a
into that
battery.
fifth dimensional nature of the Watchers,
Hmm.
where they're kind
Okay.
of outside space and time and everything. And so they're tapping into that as the way to save everybody.
Yeah. I kind of had a thought. I know I was thinking of Galactus's role is or whatever he's going to be coming into the Fantastic Four world, right? And
Hmm.
we've always been kind of thinking that he's there to eat the planet or something like that.
Yeah.
What if it's more of the he's there to warn Fantastic Four because he himself is fearful of God Emperor Doom instead? So it's
Mm-hmm.
that. But maybe it's not, maybe it isn't Galactus in that sense. Maybe it's Uatu that's fearful of it and he shows up as purely a warning sign.
Hmm.
Like he's the one that warns them. Um, and that's it. Maybe that's all it is for him. But I don't know. Just a
Yeah.
thought.
Yeah, no, I do think that's an interesting idea for sure.
I
I
just don't
like
know what
it.
else you do. What
Hmm.
else you do with I mean, Uatu is he's they're very powerful,
Hmm.
obviously. So it's kind of like putting Gaia in the show
Yeah.
or in the movie. Like, I don't know, dangerous move.
Yes. And then multiple in Doomsday and Secret Wars.
Yeah,
Yeah, it does feel like they would kind of then just be using them to power.
their big heads are just big batteries.
Yeah, something like that. But final rumor, before one last piece of news, but it wasn't MCU news, so I moved it to the bottom here. Final rumor is that Marvel Studios is working on animated feature films, featuring Power Pack and Kid Kaiju.
Hmm.
So, familiar with either of those?
If I said no, would you be surprised?
No, I'm not super familiar with any of these
I
either.
don't know. Yeah, I'm not sure. I've heard of
So
them, but
Power Pack is going to be like this would make sense in that they're younger characters for
wait,
the
is this a
team.
group or is that a person?
This is a group.
Okay.
So like Zero G is the leader of Power Pack. Then there's Energizer, Lightspeed, Mass Master, Tattletale, and Kofi Whitemane have all been characters in it. I think they've teamed up with like Moon Girl. So
Hmm. If anything to do with like the oh man, it's totally escaping me. I'm about due for one of these, I guess though. Um oh my gosh. Fantastic Four is the school.
oh,
Um
the Future Foundation.
Thank you. God, yes, the Future Foundation.
Maybe there'd be a little bit of crossover there. I think they would probably keep it more separate and do it as a kids movie because
Yeah.
then like Kid Kaiju is also obviously from the name a kid, but he has the ability to summon monsters, communicate with them, fuse with them. So
Hmm.
like that's just yeah, that
But
sounds like a kid's animated movie that
yeah,
could be real cool, but
there is one. They have a cover of the Power Pack on it.
mhm.
Does have Johnny Storm and the Thing. Oh, and Reed and Sue are in there too. But it's
Yeah.
so
Yep. Well, I think one of the characters is Alex Power, and he, I believe, has he's been part of the Future Foundation
okay.
as well. So he's Zero G. That's his current alias. So that it certainly is a chance for if they do the Future Foundation in Fantastic Four First Steps to continue building off of that and be like, hey, here's a new team.
I mean, it seems like a perfect animated thing, right, for
Hmm.
young kids. Sure.
Yeah, yeah, and chance to be like, hey, they're very sciencey um, superheroes. So
Yeah,
let's
use their
talk
brain
about that.
instead of
Yeah.
right.
And then the one piece of video game news is there's rumored to be an Avengers video game in the works that will not be related to the previous Avengers video game.
My son actually really likes that Adventures game.
Nice.
It's yeah, it's kind of difficult. It's kind of above his age, but he certainly is gravitated towards it. He likes it. I don't know. It was
Nice.
kind of cool. It was all right. I don't play a lot of video games, but it was pretty cool. I he did play the Guardians of the Galaxy game, and he thought that was pretty awesome. I think he actually beat it or like finished or completed it, which I was impressed by. Um, so good. I'm glad there's another one. Then kind of gives my kids a break from Fortnite or Madden or NBA,
Yeah.
2K. So
Yeah.
get them into the nerdy world a little bit is kind of
Mhm.
what I'm hoping for. So
Mhm. Yeah. So that was it for news and rumors, which that was quite a bit.
dang.
And now we're going to be talking about your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man because that comes out in 3 days with two episodes.
Yes.
So it is 2332. By the way, they announced the titles for the episodes. And I do want to talk quickly about a rumor that popped up just recently with this. First off, the first version of the rumor I saw with this is that Jeff Trammell is reportedly working on a second season of Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man. So he's the creator of this. Then this is the second part of this rumor is comes from the movie podcast, which I mean they sourced it from there, and it is attributed to Brad Winderbaum.
Wait, the movie podcast? Like it's called the movie podcast.
Yes.
Okay.
Uh, so I don't know if Brad Winderbaum was on the movie podcast. I believe he has been before, but according to this, Brad Winderbaum has confirmed a season two of Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man and is already in, or confirmed that that is already in the works and that Spider-Man, or that season three has been greenlit by Marvel Studios and like scripts are written, um, animatics are halfway done, so like the animation is already well along the way,
Huh.
which
So
it's that would be surprising to me.
you got a lot of faith in this, I would say.
Yeah. If that is true, and obviously I haven't spent the time to dig into it for like knowing for sure, but it's yeah, there's an element of it where I'm like, okay, this seems the combination of Brad Winderbaum's name and it's like it's sourced from this podcast
And the movie pod, okay. So it wasn't Marvel's.
was not Marvel's podcast.
Okay. So I mean, I, as I was doing a little bit of, research and stuff like that for our podcast today, I was thinking, I found that Brandon Davis from comicbook.com. So
Hmm.
he used to work there. I don't think he does anymore, but he's got his own YouTube channel now, Phase Zero. But I mean, he's done quite a few interviews. He seems
Hmm.
like fairly reliable in a way, or at least
Yes.
decent source. So he was given the entire Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man,
Hmm.
uh, all episodes. So I'm not, and he didn't spoil anything or anything like that. He just had said that the ending of it, I mean, like it got really good. Like the ending that the last few episodes really ramped up. And so if they leave it on a level like that where you're really wanting more and there's kind of a cliffhanger and they've already got this coming in, they've got a good chunk of it started.
Hmm.
I mean, these kind of what you found and what I've was looking into today and read about kind of match up then.
Yeah.
Like the Brandon said, like it starts off a bit slow, but he said that it's really pretty good and it gets really good towards the end. So yeah, I could see that being true. I could see that definitely happening and they'll push out another season of this. So
Yeah. It's I'm just gonna be super curious on this to know like and we'll know after probably the first two episodes coming out this Wednesday is this going to be a like what's the target audience for this show?
hmm.
Because is it Marvel fans like you and me? Is it okay, it's going to be like it's a, or is it going to be like an animated show that family can watch? Is it going to be an X-Men 97 style animated show?
Well, going back to what
Funny-ish.
Brandon
Yeah.
has, yeah, he said it wasn't that level of like seriousness and drama that happened with X-Men 97. He said it's not that because it's definitely fun, exciting, lots of action, like and even some really cool action scenes.
Hmm.
I think it's more like if you're looking for an age group, I'm thinking you're 10 to I don't even know how high you go, I guess, to the Marvel geekdom, right?
Yeah.
It's not like you're starting at 16 and going up. You got you got some lower ages in there. Like at least they're hitting the double digits at the beginning of the
Hmm.
double digits. So I think there's even in the trailer, didn't the word ass get like dished out? I think in the alley fight scene or something like that. When I swear that
I
pretty sure
don't.
not that that can really define the show, but
Right.
it's gonna they're
I
catering to an
don't.
audience.
Yeah, I don't think it did because, or
I swear I
maybe
heard ass.
I don't think they said it. I think that it was one of those where it was kind of like, oh, like if you're an adult and you know how the format of that like that those statements go, you know precisely what that next word was going to be. But I did show the trailer to my 6-year-old kid, and I wouldn't have done that had they actually said ass
Hmm.
in there.
But yeah, it could have been, and I didn't think I heard it the first time either. I felt like it was like a separate, like a different version of it, but maybe a different cut.
Maybe.
Because there was a release of one, what, just like 3 or 4 days ago, even?
Um,
But I don't know if it was that one. Either way,
yeah,
I think the audience it's not the X-Men 97 audience. They are definitely included, but it's not solely up there, you know.
yeah.
So I'm expecting fun action, uh comedy stuff. And I supposedly there's some actually pretty good character threads and arcs that are
Hmm.
happening in there too. So
Yeah.
for some, but not all. And this is all based again on what Brandon was talking about. But yeah, so
Yeah.
it made me excited for it too. I really do like the animation. I really
Hmm.
just keep watching that. So
Yeah. So I was multitasking through a little bit of
oh,
what you said there, and I listened to that part. It is dumbass, they
there it
say.
is.
Yeah.
I knew I heard ass in there somewhere.
Mhm. Greg's superpower.
It is. I
You
can
can always hear the word ass.
it's I should be in the Great Lake Avengers. Did somebody say ass? That's my superpower. Just worthless.
You can
Unless
tell when
Dr. Ass is around, and then I
yeah, you can tell when somebody says the word ass in a 4 block radius.
Oh man. Let's make a comic on that somehow. It'd be great.
Yeah. Um,
Uh,
so yeah, the embargo has lifted at least for kind of those general thoughts on your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man, and obviously Marvel is going to retweet the ones that are favorable. But yeah, I've seen a
I'm just
number of them.
I'd just like to go back to my power again of
Yes.
hearing the word ass. There's like a sub level of power also. So anytime anybody like farts, I know who it was, and I can remember all the smells of their farts, and therefore can pick out any villain that farts within a 10 block radius as well. So it's not just the word ass. I can also smell and remember everybody's farts, and that's why I'm useful. So.
That's why this is a classy podcast.
Issue number one, it's gonna be off the charts.
Yeah. So with it coming out so shortly here too, we did get the list of every single episode title. I'm gonna run through all of them quickly, and then we'll go through them a bit slower, kind of as our main topic of conversation. First off, we have episode 1, Amazing Fantasy. Episode 2, The Parker Luck. Episode 3, Secret Identity Crisis. Episode 4, Hitting the Big Time. Episode 5, The Unicorn Unleashed. Episode 6, Duel with the Devil. Episode 7, Scorpion Rising. Episode 8, Tangled Web. Episode 9, Hero or Menace. Episode 10, If This Be My Destiny, which that one's going to be the crossover with The Witch's Road. It's just what it sounds like to me.
I know. I think that would work. It's a great idea.
There's
Did you
also
say did you say
th
tangled or tingled web?
Tangled.
Okay. I say I either wrote that down or you said it weird. Okay.
No, I
Both
enunciate
work.
correctly. Yeah, he
I
has a
listen
speaker jingle.
incorrectly.
Yes. So let's start with Amazing Fantasy.
I honestly just chunked the first three as it's gonna be the spider bite, the suit made in episode two, and then three is when he's web slinging around. That's how I chunk those. And so
I
I feel
think
like
it,
there's not gonna be a lot in there, but I think also he's in the third episode, he's struggling with balance. So it's going to be kind of a lot of the same. I'm kind of pulling in a little bit what Brandon had talked about, how it starts off a little slow, kind of
Hmm.
meh, and then ramps up. But I think there'll be a little different twists on it, but I think it's going
Hmm.
to be a lot of the same structure.
Yeah, I think we're gonna see. I think it can maybe even be condensed down a little bit. Like he gets bit. He thinks it's like bad luck or unfortunate, and kind of just like, oh man, this sucks. Now I'm in high school, known as the kid who fainted after something happened at his school.
Yeah.
Because we see they've released that scene of the spider bite. Um,
Or
and yeah,
is Aunt May going to stick around, or is she going to be the Ben in this episode? And then she dies in episode two. And that's the luck, like bad
maybe.
luck.
Though it's supposed to, I mean, so in the animation, we've seen where there's been a still released of what looks like the airport fight from
Yeah. Yep.
Civil War. So I'm wondering if it's going to be like, okay, timeline, we get to see the spider bite. Uncle Ben, who knows where he is, we're not going to see that. We're going to have an Aunt May, and Peter's going to get pulled into the events of Civil War. We're going to see it more from his perspective. And then that's going to kind of be the amazing fantasy because he thinks that he's gotten bad luck, but then he realizes it's like, oh, it's a superpower and I can I can help out. And so he helps out and then immediately gets benched. That's what the Parker luck is. It's he
Hmm.
has bad luck. He got to be a big time superhero for one day and now Tony Stark has told him like, get lost, kid. Like, I'm gone. I don't I'm not here to be a mentor like he was in the MCU. So just deal with it, kid. Figure it out.
I put the airport scene in the
Episode
final
four.
episode. No, the
Oh,
final episode. I thought it was
so
gonna. Oh, do you know something I don't?
yeah. So from what I know, and this I believe is Brad Winderbaum again, or it's Jeff Trammell, one of the two, where it's like it stays the same up through a point and then it changes. And then it kind of branches off from there, which
Okay.
I don't think they're going to do that in the finale. Be like,
Okay.
that's the point where it kind of branches. So it could be, though, you could be right with it for the most part about the first three episodes, and then in episode four, hitting the big time is when that fight comes in. But I think that's more like he finds his footing. Maybe that's when he meets Norman Osborn and gets his white suit at that point.
That's where I have him meeting. First of all, the Kingpin is in that episode
Hmm.
is what I was thinking, right? Big time. I was
Hmm.
thinking, but that's also where he gets, yeah,
The white
hooked up with
suit.
Norman
Yeah.
Osborn, right? Now, the reason I said that the episode 10 was the airport scene was because, and it's just first thoughts, like probably completely wrong, but with Nika Minoru, I was thinking that she was showing using her staff, right? The
Hmm.
one or whatever it's called. I can't remember what it's called.
Yeah.
Uh, but using that to show Peter what his destiny is. And that is
Mm.
the airport scene of like joining the Avengers in that sense, right? Like she's kind of giving him a little hint with her powers. I'm assuming they're that well developed at that point. But I you're right. If they're gonna like, I don't think they would have that be at the end. I think they would have that point in time where it kind of skids off and does its own thing more earlier on. So I would
Hmm.
agree with that. So
Yeah. To me, that skid, I think, really starts to happen it starts to change a little bit in episode two, I think, where it's like, okay, Tony Stark doesn't continue to sponsor and mentor him, basically. But he still goes through a lot of similar story beats in episodes one, two, and three, where it's like, okay, this is generally tracking, and then all of a sudden, episode four, it's like, oh, here's the new person who's going to be helping him, which of course will somehow be villainous.
yeah, of course. Um, I think episode one is going to be. Has this been said that the spider bite happens, right? I
Hmm.
think in the first one, does it come from like Strange showing up? Because it feels like when you see Strange in
Yeah.
the in those clips in the trailers, it's all happening kind of in that same space as the spider bite seems to happen, and where he's
So
having
right
that
outside the
conversation.
school.
Yeah, right with Nico Minoru, like that's
Hmm.
after the fact because people are 'cause she's asking if he's okay, or I don't know. It just seems like that's
Yeah,
what's happening. So
that
uh,
I believe that was rumored or confirmed
yeah,
from the footage showing.
I feel like that was a rumor out there for sure, or something like that.
Yeah,
So.
it might have been confirmed from the footage shown at D23.
Which also then, if they're tossing in Charlie Cox, according to IMDb, he's in episode one.
Hmm.
So I'm kind of also wondering how much of that the trailer is actually just mostly episode
Yeah.
one, right? Kind of pretty typical, but I didn't
Yes.
expect
Yep.
Charlie Cox to show up or Daredevil. So,
Hmm.
um,
Well, and that I think it could easily be Matt Murdock
yeah,
too,
that's
who
fair.
shows up.
That's
Like,
fair.
um, Peter gets bitten, and with the spider that everything we have the battle in the airport that occurs. It's like a slightly different team up. Maybe Strange is there, something like that. And then Peter gets into legal trouble, and Murdoch is the one who represents him.
All yeah, all in that first episode. I feel like the
Yeah,
airport scene shows up later.
it might.
Yeah, but you're right. I don't really know how Matt. I think it'd be the lawyer, like Matt Murdock's side.
Yeah.
I just don't quite get how. But either
Suing
way,
Doctor Strange.
I'm suing you for
Bringing in a
make
spider from a different universe that bit me.
yes, and is class action lawsuit all the way. Um, so I guess see that leaves us one, two, three.
Mhm.
Hitting the big time, we kind of talked about that. That's where we feel like that things are going to obviously start branching off even
Yeah.
further. Osborn's going to be his person to hook him up with the suit, probably. I'm guessing maybe he defeats Kingpin in this with that suit. I don't know. That's only if Kingpin actually shows up there. Um, episode five.
Hmm.
In your video on this, your YouTube video talking about you didn't know what this episode kind of was.
Yeah.
So I think the unicorn is it's a villain. I think it's a female in this case. She looked like it. She looked that I think it's at the did I said the unicorn, right?
Yeah.
Okay. In the trailer, there's somebody shooting something out of their head. And I'm pretty sure that's it. She looked like she has like a horn on her head. So I think it's just a villain. And this is going to be just kind of one of those like, how do I stop this villain in this episode?
Hmm.
That's going to be kind of the main target of this one. Kind
Yeah.
of that in the middle of the season. And
Yeah. It looks like we have kind of three of those with specific characters on them. Oddly enough, you want to know something funny? I was searching for it to see if I could find something on like a picture or anything from the screen, and searching unicorn friendly neighborhood Spider-Man and then doing the image search. My video is
oh,
like on row three for images.
oh man, you're big time. You're
I
making it up.
know.
You're Mr. Popular.
Yeah. I'm
Hitting the
trying
Google
to
search.
here we go. On Reddit, there was one of those big pictures of a ton of the cast. Okay, yeah, so the character, I can see the character who most likely is the unicorn. Makes
Mhm.
sense.
So I think also we're gonna see representation of LGBTQ kind of stuff in
Hmm.
here with this.
Well, you have
Um,
Nico
and
in
Nick,
there.
oh,
Yeah.
is she identify as somebody or something?
Um,
They or is she lesbian or
I believe lesbian, if
okay?
I remember correctly. And now I'm gonna like don't quote me on that, but she's currently single.
Oh,
So
whew, I got a chance. No, I don't.
but I believe that generally she has been tied in with with some other characters, trying to remember who. And I do feel like I remember that coming across in Avengers Arena when I read that, but that's been years since I read that. Yeah, she is.
So I'm
She
sure this is gonna probably, you know, cause a little bit of uproar for some groups of people and
most
whatever.
yeah, most
Dumb.
likely those people are not going to be even watching this though, because it's an animated show for little kids. So bisexual.
Oh, okay. So I do
Yeah.
got a chance. All right.
Mhm.
Yes, I'm talking about dating a cartoon figure with a horn on her head.
Oh
Don't
no, this
judge.
is Nico we're talking about,
Oh, that's right.
not
Not the unicorn.
yeah.
Well,
I
that
have
has
no
a
idea
staff
with
come out of her
unicorn.
chest.
Yeah.
Um,
So that makes sense though, and it would make sense that 5, 6, and 7 are kind of all villain of the week.
hmm
I say kind of because Duel with the Devil, I think, will be where we see Daredevil again.
hmm
And probably that could be more Kingpin at that
Sure.
point. Like original, I'm thinking potentially they start with Daredevil and Spider-Man facing off against each other because both of them are trying to get to Kingpin, and then they team up to battle Kingpin towards the end.
Yeah. Or maybe like trying to warn this young kid,
Hmm.
hey, you're out of your league kind of thing.
Yeah.
And it's a, um, yeah, I still think even though that sounds like they're going to be just kind of like your villain of the week, I still think we're going to have those sub
Yeah.
storylines happening, right? And there's going to be because from what it sounds like, it's still going to have some depth to the characters and to the stories. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
um,
No, I don't
I don't
mean
want the
that in
audience to sell it short just because we say
right.
it's villain of the week.
Yeah, I don't mean that in a negative sense. I mean that in the way, like one of the show examples I can think of like that is Castle. The writer helping out the police show
Mhm.
that was on ABC several years ago with Nathan Fillion. And Castle, there was always a case of the week, but there was always some tie in to like the bigger overall season arc.
Yeah.
And so when I say it's villain of the week, I mean, it's like that's who he's going to beat up, but that doesn't mean that it's not going to tie into anything else. It's just that that's going to be at the periphery.
Yeah. It's like what Fringe did really well.
Yes. Yes.
They
Fringe
did
is
it
a great
really well.
example of
Yeah.
that too.
Um, so episode 8, Tangled Web, I
Mhm.
didn't really know. I was like, they're not gonna do like Madam Web or something like that, right? There's probably just
No.
gonna be more. It's really things are kind of hitting it's like a big poo storm for him right now, I think,
Mhm.
like in the show. Things are just
Yes.
the worst possible for him.
Mhm. I think that he does something. He stops somebody or gets blamed for some level of destruction, mayhem, whatever. It might be true that he does cause it. This is kind of his with great power comes great responsibility moment of I I have to understand the ramifications of what I'm doing.
Now, after I say that, and after you just said that, it makes me think, man, they probably want to, do they really want to take that direction? Like that's almost like mapping it out for like
Mhm.
the beats of the same story. Like, do I want to see that again? Where he
Yeah.
is feeling defeated about this? Because I mean that it's already happened. We've already seen that same
Mhm.
Spider-Man, and even though there's gonna be different characters involved and whatnot, I just maybe I don't
So
want that.
yeah, my thought is, and I talked about this on the video too, with I think it could be like he's working with Osborn on this, and Osborn kind of sets him up as where it's something where it's like, yeah, no, this I need your help because these bad people are doing this thing. And whether or not it's actually bad people, he realizes that that's how it's perceived and that Osborn has been using him. So that is fairly similar to the No Way Home
Mhm.
element of it, but more grounded for New York street level.
Yeah, it'd be kind of interesting if they just kind of kept Osborn in the clear at this point, or kind of a clean version of him,
Mhm.
maybe instead, and it's something else that's got him in a vice kind of thing.
Yeah.
Um, just to make I don't know.
But it does feel like that's the episode they're going to paint Spider-Man as a villain.
Yeah.
Because then episode 9, so episode 8 is the end of week three's episodes.
hmm
Episode 9 is the start of the final week's episodes, so that feels like it makes sense to have that be the point where it leaves you on a cliffhanger.
Yeah. I think again, gonna roll back to Brandon Davis here. He was saying that the penultimate episode is where he said he felt like if that was the last episode, it was completely satisfying, right? But there's still another one to go. And he said that even in episode 10, it gets better than what happened in episode 9. So it's like that the way it breaks at 8 and you got 9 and 10 together, it's almost like what we had for Agatha, right? It was
Mhm.
maybe in reverse a little bit here, just because n episode 7 for Agatha was right. 7 was the, or was it 9 episodes? Now I can't remember.
I think it was 9 episodes.
The penultimate episode was almost felt like the last episode, right? But then they kind
Hmm.
of gave us that backstory, which really tied everything nicely in a bow. So yeah, I'm I'm really looking forward to this one, as you may ask me later. But Hero or Menace, episode 9, I think that's when we're gonna see. I wrote down maybe Osborn turns at this point on
Hmm.
Peter. Turns him into maybe a questionable hero, maybe, but maybe even J. Jonah Jameson pops in, a
Yep.
quick cameo there, right?
Yep.
But I
That
think
feels
this
like
is
J. Jonah Jameson. It feels like Osborn,
it's
like
like
a
a title.
confirmed
Yeah, like the
Osborn
newspaper
turn.
title. That's what I was thinking of, the Hero and the
Hmm.
Menace, but yeah. So this one is, I think, where we're gonna, this last week is gonna be pretty great from,
Hmm.
and what I'm hoping for.
Yeah. And yeah, I agree with that. I'm excited. I'm like, I think I did I did a poll on the community tab for level of excitement.
Hmm.
And we have 3 votes, one for super excited, one for a little excited, one for we'll wait and see, nobody for not at all. So good job, people. Be be excited. You should be excited for this. It looks different in so
Yeah,
many ways.
I I am not as excited as other things.
Hmm.
I can't I think I'm gonna definitely enjoy it.
Hmm.
I'm excited in a way for like the animation style to see what they do with some of the characters, but it's not something where I'm, man, I can't wait for Wednesday, or if it's Wednesday, I can't remember, whatever day
Yes,
it is.
it's Wednesday. This reminds me a lot of X-Men 97 for me going
Yeah,
into it. I was
yeah.
like, you know what? Cool. I'm excited to see what you can do. I'm expecting that it's going to be entertaining and fun and a good time. In some ways, I'm a little bit more excited for this one than X-Men 97 just because this feels wholly different. Whereas X-Men 97, my expectations going into X-Men 97 were like, this is a continuation of a show that I watched when I was a kid. How are you going to make this really good?
Mhm.
And obviously, that went way past my expectations. This time, my expectations, I think, are a little bit more of I don't know what you're going to do. So I'm more excited to see that than I was for what I thought X-Men 97 might be.
Yeah, for I'll kind of put it in like, it's kind of like two buckets. You got what's in the MCU, right? And you kind of got what's off to the side, in its own bucket, things that are not really
Hmm.
canon. For me, this I think I was more excited for X-Men 97. And this one I'm like, I think I'm just gonna really enjoy it once I'm
Hmm.
have seen the whole thing. But I don't get that same level of excitement as I do when into the other side of the bucket where things are canon. So
Yes. Yep.
being that we're in the non-canon bucket, for me, I'm gonna, if I was to put it like on a point system, I'm feeling like a 6, I would
Okay.
say,
Yeah,
with
I was going to say,
expectations that I'm gonna feel that I'm gonna be super pleased by what I see. I
mhm,
think it's still gonna be the case. So,
yeah. If I were to do it, I would say I'm a 7.5.
okay,
So
yeah,
it's not like I'm I'm chomping at the bit for this to come out just because I'm excited for new Marvel content
yeah.
to come out.
I think one of the big things I'm excited for, just kind of refreshing my brain on Nico Minoru. There we go.
Hmm.
Is just seeing what they do with her, like how much
Hmm.
power does she get,
Well,
where they take her.
yeah, and then like you look at the list of characters too, because it's not just
Or even
her.
Lonnie
Mhm.
Lincoln, right? What are they
Yeah,
gonna, is that gonna
there's
be we didn't even talk about Lonnie Lincoln. He
mhm.
could
Well,
be, go
mhm.
ahead.
I was gonna say there's Lonnie Lincoln, there's Luna Snow, there's um
Luna Snow, help me. Why? Uh,
she's one of the like huge characters right now in Marvel Rivals,
okay.
but she is I believe, where is she from? I don't want to get
Minnesota,
it get it wrong. She
Wisconsin.
is South Korean. That's what I thought.
Oh, not even close. Okay.
She's a K-pop singer, uh, who
Oh,
has
that's
some
right.
powers. So she's in it. Like you mentioned, Lonnie Lincoln in there. Trying to track down who else. Wave, the
Yep.
Philippine
Oh yeah.
one, superhero.
Yeah. I mean, so there's gonna be some kind of fun other characters in there, right?
Hmm.
I will Lonnie Lincoln kind of be that used for bad, but is generally trying to be a good person kind of character? Kind of gets pulled into the wrong group, or is he just gonna be a jackass?
Oh, and it seems like he's not that much of a jackass from the.
Doesn't he
It's hard
save
to.
him? Like he looks like
Yeah.
he's the one that gets saved in that hall or that alleyway, right?
Is that Lonnie or is that Harry?
Oh, good point. I don't know.
Thought that was Harry,
Okay.
but I
So
could
Lonnie
be
maybe
wrong.
is a jerk. Maybe Lonnie's taking the place of
Flash.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm scrolling so far here just to refresh myself. Lonnie Lincoln's tombstone.
Yep.
But
Also showed up in Agents of Shield, by the way.
so yeah, I mean he's probably a bit more of that cocky character, but there does seem to be some kind of like positive interactions, if I
Mm.
remember correctly, or just okay interactions, like not super negative or anything like that from in between him and Peter, if I remember correctly from the trailer. But do you have anything else that you want to cover?
Um, I don't. I'm checking. Um,
Yeah, I'm
I
looking at
don't.
the image of all the characters and like there's six different Spider-Man costumes that it shows.
Oh, oh, that Cho. Remind me of Cho and Amadeus Cho. That'll be another character I
Hmm.
think that shows up.
Oh yeah.
Like how I did that. Um, I just want to check one thing. Oh, nope, that was good. That was it. I knew I took a screenshot of something and it was all
Yeah, so with that then, just want to thank you all for listening. Let us know if you're going to be checking out the podcast. You can do that over on X. Let me know at the Scando or with hashtag 10minmarvel. Leave a comment over on Facebook, facebook.com/10minmarvel, or you can head over to YouTube, youtube.com/at 10minmarvel to subscribe there. I plan on putting out a video around these first couple episodes that are going to be coming out this week. We'll have to see what day that comes out on because I'm not quite sure if I'll get to both episodes on Wednesday, but that will be my goal. So then, with that, just again want to thank you all for checking out the podcast. We really appreciate it. Greg gave a few ways you can help support the podcast at the beginning, but we also have a Patreon, patreon.com/nerdologists. The funds go to help improve the quality of this podcast, as well as the Multi Miracles YouTube channel, 10 Minute Marvel YouTube channel, and nerdologist.com website. But with that, see you next time.
nice.